Tonight on the Black Channel, we present to you an ethnic cleansing strategy over 6 decades in the making. We'll be explaining the buffer class strategy. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel, and I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically Black college, university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program, you are witnessing as an ethnic cleansing strategy that was put out decades ago, one that was advanced and set into motion before most of us were even born. It's now coming to fruition. Something that you never even thought about is you were thrust into a world where you were just assuming that everything was fine. Now you're finding out that there have been plans put into place before you were even born. Most of your parents and grandparents told you should vote one way or vote that way, and everything else is going to work out. But we here in the new Black Media have been telling you that you can't trust any of these people. And now your generation, if caught unawares, is facing a do or die moment that's going to decide the future of Black people. Not just in America, but around the world, because as goes Black society in America, so goes the rest of the world. So tonight, I could go through a big long explanation, but I will not do so. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to show you a simple tweet. This was put up a couple of days ago. Not a lot of folk caught this, but I did. And these are the words of Joe Biden. At a time right now when Black people are center stage, when Black issues are center stage, and have captivated the world, it is set off what many are calling a second civil rights movement, because you have not seen the world galvanized in this way. Quite frankly, you haven't seen the world galvanized like this even during the first so-called civil rights movement. And the white media has immediately jumped in to say, let us change the subject by any and all means. The Supreme Court has stepped in and said, no, damn it, we're changing the subject now. So all of a sudden, just in a couple of days, you saw as they've attempted to pivot and change the subject to LGBT and illegals, the same old standby, same old playbook. Oh, they acknowledge that Black folk have set something off, but then they say, okay, while everybody's watching here, you know, the real issue is LGBT, and real issue is illegal aliens. And they keep coming back to that over again. Right when it's time to discuss what's going to be done for Black people, somebody jumps in and demands, no, we're not going to discuss black people. We are going to discuss something else, anything else. We are not discussing that. Time to move on to a new subject. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something different. Don't need to talk about this. So here you have Joe Biden saying, vote for me. And on day one, now he has said nothing about black people on day one. Black people, the foundation of the modern Democratic Party, nothing for us. He's letting you know, black folk, I see the polls. I see you're not falling for it. So this is holding out to the illegals. Hey, look, if y'all show up now, if y'all come out now, then I will push to legalize enough of you that you can supplant that black vote. You got what, 40, 45 million black people in America? We'll bring in 11 million. I mean, they're letting you know we ain't playing with it. 11 million. Kaboom. Just like that. 11 million. Letting you know that this is what they're playing now. The strategy here is that black people, we are going to obliterate the black vote because he sees now, him and the Democrats now see black folk. This generation ain't falling for it. This generation is not going for the, well, you know, maybe things will get better. This generation is saying, no, drop it off now. Cut the check. We're not playing any more games. We're not listening to any more stalling tactics. Drop it off now. And to be clear, President Donald Trump was sailing to re-election before the national protests over the murder of George Floyd occurred. Donald Trump was sailing to re-election. Joe Biden was getting ready to head back to Delaware and see if he could sell vacuum cleaners. And then Trump was put in a position where he had to say something sensible and couldn't bring himself to do it. And so he's fumbled the damn ball so badly, he's temporarily, and I'm telling you all right now, temporarily breathed new life into Joe Biden's campaign. Not because people love Joe Biden, but because, well, they just don't like what they're seeing right now. There's just too damn much going on. But I'm going to tell you right now, the white supremacist media shouldn't take too many early victory laps. I wonder what's going to happen in the run-up to the debates. I wonder what's going to happen. There's a whole lot of time for things to change here. So right now, yeah, we'll see what occurs. But I'm telling you right now, what's on that screen right there, that is every reason for black people to abandon and scuttle the Democratic Party, because let's be very clear, that is not Joe Biden speaking on your screen. That's not Joe Biden. That is Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Howard Dean, all of the white power masters of the Democratic Party. This is their statement issued by them, that if you illegals can get your legal folk to show up and deliver us the votes, we will replace the black vote with you. Now, I want you to see the levels of insult that this is. All the things that the Democrats told you they couldn't do for black folk. Remember Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker, especially Kamala Harris. Remember, they said you couldn't do something just for black people. Remember that? We can't do something just for you. Oh, we got to do something for all Americans. And it'll benefit you indirectly. So you should be satisfied with indirect support. It'll help you a little bit. We're going to have to just get it through our heads that the Democrats have recruited, their strategy now is buffer classes. Let me explain to you who and what the buffer classes are. The buffer classes are anybody who is not a black person who is demanding the obliteration of white supremacy. Those are your buffer classes. So it is white people, it is Latinos, it is Asians, it is Arabs, it is East Indians, it is LGBT, it is biracials, it is coon niggas. Those are your buffer classes. So right now they're trying to put together this hodgepodge gumbo of mixing together all these disparate elements so they can perform this alchemy of neutralizing the black vote and cobbling together this Frankensteinian monster of a voting bloc whose sole purpose is to supplant the black vote so that they don't have to work. Because you have to understand, all these other groups have a vested interest in white supremacy. They benefit under the system of white supremacy because they are willing to accept number 2 status. Once again, in the words of our immortal elder, Dr. John Henry Clark, he said that white society has made a deal with everybody that you can have anything you want. You can have everything laid at your feet, so long as you never attempt to take the number 1 position. As long as you perpetually agree to being number 2, you can have anything you want. If you are willing to accept an honorary white status, not a genuine status, but an honorary one, if you're willing to accept that subordinate honorary number 2 position, then you can have whatever you want. Me. You want money? Got that. So long as you have the second most amount. So long as you are second most riches. You can have it. What do you want? 1 million? 10 million? 100 million? 100 billion? Whatever you want. You can have it. So long as you can have 100 billion, so long as we have 200 billion. As long as you never challenge us for that number 1 slot, sure. You want land? No problem. Carve out whole countries, whole states, whole nations, so long as we get to decide what the parameters of that will be. You want women? Dude, we got women lined up, stacked up. Just so long as you keep your mitts off certain ones. You want to be the majority of the population? Not a problem. You can be the majority of the population just so long as you are not the majority of the power. You can vote for whoever you want. No big issue. You can vote for whoever you want to vote for, so long as we get to choose who the candidates are. You get to vote for whoever you want to. Vote whoever you want to, so long as we choose the candidates. You can vote however you choose, just so long as we get to decide who it is you will be voting for. That's all. Understand this is the game that they're playing. We don't understand how these other groups see themselves, but your white power structure has known this since the beginning. They've been playing this game of musical chairs, and they're now ready to open up their insurance policy. Now, when the Black Channel was saying this a decade ago, it was rare. Nobody was talking about this. It was rare. We were the only ones who were pointing out a decade ago that most Latinos don't identify as minorities. As a matter of fact, most of them identify as white. But a lot of you don't live in areas where you would see that. So you weren't aware that, by the way, most of them identify as white. And when you see white supremacists and racist politicians, you got to understand when you see Pete King on television talking about keeping America white, why you had a lot of Latinos sitting there with him saying, yeah, that's right. Preach, brother. You're sitting there talking about minorities, and they're sitting next to you talking about, yeah, keep America white. Preach, brother, preach. Some of them saying it in Spanish. Some of them were in Spanish saying this. We warned you a decade ago that you were dealing with European cultures. And that just like at the beginning of the 20th century, when the Anglo cultures assimilated the lesser Anglos, Greeks, Italians, Irish, we told you all that that was coming. We told you that was going to happen. And we told you that that was what was going to happen for these other groups. Now they're doing it. And I'm going to explain to you why that is. Got a lot I want to get into here. There's going to be a lot to cover. I want to do that, but I don't want to have to wait too long here. So I want you to pay attention very carefully. The reason that buffer classes are able to be cultivated and developed is because in white society's eyes, they are able to they see these other groups as genetically recessive. That if a white man has a baby with a Latina female, the baby is going to come out looking Anglo. So he can live with that. As far as he's concerned, they're genetically dominant. That kid's going to come out looking Anglo. He's cool with that. He'll take that. Where Asians are concerned, same thing. Now, where Asians are concerned, he figures, it'll take 2 generations. But that's okay. It'll take 2 generations, but you'll get some babies who come out looking white. I mean, the first ones will look like Elliot Rodgers. They'll look like Keanu Reeves. They'll look like, what's his name? The guy who plays the Flash in the DC universe now, unless they fired him. I forget his name off the top of my head. You all have put in the chat room, but they'll look like him for the most part. The first generation, they'll look like that. They'll look like that to begin with. But eventually, they'll start looking Anglo. Eventually they will. Eliza Miller. Thank you. Was it Eliza or Ezra? I want to say Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller. Yeah, you're gonna have kids at first. They're gonna look a little mixed. You'll be able to tell, he ain't the typical white kid. That's the first generation. But by the second generation, you won't be able to tell the difference. You won't be able to tell. You will not be able to tell. You won't be able to. So I want you to understand, when they don't take a look at race mixing with other groups, they don't take a look at it the same way you do. They don't take a look at it the way you do. They take a look at it as this is a strategy. It's a desperate strategy, but this is a strategy that will work. This is a strategy that will work. Got to understand that. Got to understand that. That's how they see this whole situation. So if you want to know why it is that they don't express the same level of vitriol toward these other groups they do towards black people, because they see a genetic path to dominance. They see a genetic path to dominance. They don't see that same genetic path with us. So that's ruled out. You can't have it. You can't have it. They see a genetic path to dominance with them, but not with us. So as black people, they have now pushed the panic button. They have pushed the emergency button. This is it. One of the issues that we have is that we as black people, we don't really believe that there's a buffer class strategy going on. We don't really believe that. A whole bunch of black folk have adopted a weak surrender mentality where they're telling themselves, well, don't worry. These other folks see themselves the way that we do. Now, when I predicted that Donald Trump was going to carry the state of Florida, that not only was he going to beat Marco Rubio, he was going to carry the state in the general election, not a lot of folk believed me. A bunch of folk doubted. But I knew the numbers. I knew the lay of the land. I knew the way they see themselves. And then when Ron DeSantis was elected, I wasn't surprised. And lo and behold, now that there's been a spike in coronavirus cases in Florida, so you have Governor Ron DeSantis, full Latino governor of Florida, telling you why the problem is the migrants, those Hispanics coming from south of the border. Ron DeSantis is telling you that's the problem. Take a look on your screens. He's saying that. Now, people, do you really think that this man is guessing his way through it? Do you really think that this man doesn't understand it? Do you think that this man doesn't get it? Do you think that this man doesn't understand where it's coming from? This man knows you're not going to upset them. This man understands who he's playing against. It's black folk who don't understand it. It's black people who are late to the party and don't understand it. We're the ones who don't know. We're the ones who don't get it. We're the ones who don't understand the code language. We're the ones who don't understand that. As black people, we're looking at them and saying, yeah, they like us. No. No, they're not. No, they're not. And you're going to get a rude ass wake up call when you think that's going to work. You're going to get a rude wake up call. And a lot of people don't understand that. But you're going to get a wake up call now. When you're saying to you, they're going to try to sit up here and say, oh, this is going to be something that, it's racial. People, he knows who he's speaking to. The very people that you are sitting up here saying, well, don't worry, they see themselves like us. No, they don't. The very people that you think he's insulting, the very people that you think he's offending, those are the very people that he's looking at and saying, no, you're the one who doesn't understand. They don't see migrants the way that you do. They don't see migrants the way that black people do. You see, black people are so busy trying to draft them to become like us. We're so busy trying to make other people think, oh, they're like us. No, they're not. So now they're letting you know not only how they're going to use the bumper classes to supplant us, but also how they're going to use the bumper classes later down the line, how they're going to dispossess them. Because first, they're going to open up a door to let them in, and then now they're already setting up the chessboard to get one group who's going to be the overseers, the preferred class over the others. They're going to bring all of those divisions and ethnic rivalries with them. Do you understand that this is long-term thinking? This is long-term thinking. we're sitting here just watching one election cycle, two election cycles. And we're not even asking the real questions. But they're aware of what we're going to run into. And by the time we get around to figuring out, it's going to be over. With us asking ourselves, well, how the hell could that happen? How the hell could that occur? And this is how. Everybody is going to be looking at us. And so long as we're at the bottom of the ladder, they'll be okay with it. This is not going to go down the way you think it's going to go down. This is not going to blow up the way you think it's going to blow up. This is not going to offend who you think it's going to offend. DeSantis has been using his honorary white position because this is a game. It's like a Game of Thrones of buffer classes. And DeSantis is using, from the very beginning, he's been using his buffer class position because when you're dealing with your European undesirables, that's what you have to understand. He's got to ingratiate himself to the Anglos when you're dealing with your European undesirables. Who's going to help round it up? So you've got the puppeteers at the top, and they grab a guy like DeSantis. They grab a guy like DeSantis, and we're going to pull the strings and take a look at how Latinos rallied behind him. Take a look at how Latinos rallied behind him. In Little Havana, in Miami, and all those Hispanic strongholds, they rallied behind this man. And the powers of the political establishment understood what they were doing. And he was using all of the language that they're used to. Leftist, socialist, the gripes that they had back in Cuba, the gripes they had back in Latin America, South America. They got somebody here who could help to organize the march of the buffer classes. That's the point. And as Black people, we spend a bunch of our damn time trying to figure out who's white. Even in the chat room, I've seen some folks trying to figure out who's white. You're not listening. This isn't about whether you think this man is Latino, Italian, Caucasian. This isn't about that. This is about the fact that he's been put into a position to organize the buffer classes. That this will be the strategy going forward. You will have a bunch of people who are not Caucasian, but will think and vote white. They will think and vote like white people. Do you understand that? While we're sitting here trying to figure out who's Caucasian, who speaks Spanish, who doesn't, which European descent is this person a member of? While we're doing that, they're organizing the buffer classes. And the buffer classes are saying, no matter what happens at the end of this series of events, we're all gonna go in on the niggas. No matter who you vote for, no matter who you grab. When I spoke at the beginning about who the buffer classes are, I said anybody who's not trying to dismantle systemic white supremacy. That's your buffer class. DeSantis was able to run for governor of Florida, and the Latinos said he's one of us. The Latinos looked at him and said he's one of us. He made his remark about monkeys towards Andrew Gillum. Andrew, Big Wet Chocolate Gillum. And the Latinos said he's one of us. He went hard on the rails about you need to have ballots in Spanish. For those of you who didn't know nothing, for those of you who the only thing you've done is wiki the man. No, you don't know anything. You really don't. You're trying to educate folks. No, you're not qualified to do this. You're not qualified. This man knew what to do, where to get his bona fides, and he's not afraid to speak like this because he understands at the end of the day, he's talking to people who already harbor anti-black sentiments, and they just want to know the pecking order. They want to know that the person at the top, they want somebody at the top who is just going to clearly spell out what is the pecking order. That's what they want. And furthermore, they would prefer it to be a non-Latino who does it. Furthermore, they actually prefer if it's a non-Latino who does it. They would actually prefer a genuine Anglo-Saxon. They would actually prefer that. So that you have basically a neutral party to validate whichever group he chooses. He'll be the one who validates you. That's one of the things they like where they come from. They want somebody who reminds them of the Caucasian aristocracy. They want someone who reminds them of the Caucasian power structure. They are looking for a white face to bow to. So you see, when you have these kind of discussions and conversations, they're not looking at it the way that you are. You see, as black folk, we look for a white person to step in and validate that the meeting really has prestige. That's what we look to do. We want somebody who's going to validate, okay, this meeting really is prestigious. I mean, you were meeting before, but it wasn't a real meeting until you brought Eminem. You didn't really have music until Eminem showed up. Now you got music. With these buffer classes, that's the way it is. Take a look at Japanese anime. Take a look at Japanese anime. And the fact that you have just characters with Asian names but Caucasian features. They want a white person to validate who it is that should be getting the nod. They want that white validation. In Latino society, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They want the white man in the big house. They want the white man with the money. They want the white man who comes from the pure Aryan stock in order to validate them. Or have you forgotten that most of your Nazis from World War II fled to South America, where they were protected? Oh, you forgot about that because you don't know your history. We sit up here and we let their mud ducks and gutter gals carouse with us. But when it is time to choose where they're going to be, J-Lo is not going to choose Puff Dummy. J-Lo is either going to choose A-Rod or A-Fleck. That's what it's going to be. J-Lo is going to choose A-Rod or A-Fleck. And you see how it went down. We're the ones telling ourselves that these are minorities like us and they see themselves the way that we do. No, they don't. And the Democrats are playing this. The political establishment is playing this. People, they don't give a damn about whether or not you agree with it or not. They really don't. They're not looking to see if you agree with anything. This isn't something for you to decide if you believe it. The reason that they're elevating LGBT, which is white people and white identifying Negroes. Because one of those buffer classes isn't just ethnic groups. In Florida, I explained to you how they're using ethnicity as their wedge to create to mobilize these buffer classes. But they've also got a sexuality buffer class, a sexual buffer class. LGBT is the sexual buffer class. You got Negroes like Billy Porter, Raven Simone, and all of moist dude, stiff jaw, stiff broad Twitter, who's sitting up here telling you that in the midst of black folk mobilizing, they're saying, wait now. No. We're going to talk about us and my interracial sexual gay access. So because what happened was with the murder of George Floyd, it swept everything else off of the front page. It swept everything else off the table in an instant. Just like that. They were swept off the table. All of a sudden, nobody cared what was happening with LGBT. Nobody cared what was happening with illegals. Nobody cared what was happening in the rainbow. Nobody cared about Pride Month. All of a sudden, it became Black Empowerment Month. And the white media said, damn them niggas. We got to do something about this. So they mobilized their LGBT coons and told them, you better get out there and derail this. And of course, their flunkies came straight to their defense because they looked up and nobody cared about their issue in a day. It didn't take months. It just took a couple of days. And all of a sudden, nobody was concerned about your issue anymore. It was all about black. So you got to understand the LGBT activists have exposed themselves as far as they're concerned. If the conversation doesn't stay strictly upon them and their interracial sexual access, and let us be clear, that is all it's about. It is only about gay interracial sexual access. It is not about gay behavior. It's not about being gay. It is about, wait a minute, you jumping on white daddy too damn much. What about black men's? But you're gay. That don't matter. What about black men's though? We'll see if we can get enough sick, perverted black females to back us up. That didn't happen. So now they're just like, well, hell, we'll just throw in our lot with the police. Now you're seeing videos from a bunch of gay folk sitting up here defending the police. You're seeing a bunch of these you also see a bunch of gay videos of them defending police, attempting to take attention off of the police and say it's about my sexuality. Take a look at me. It's about my sexuality. Stop talking about white daddy. Stop talking about white supremacy. So you understand LGBT is a buffer class. They have created and concocted and erected this buffer class. Now they're rolling them out. Even though they are marginal, they're rolling them out anyway as a deflection and a distraction. Because as long as just this way they always play the game. Just as soon as we start beating the brain matter out of white supremacy, they send in one of their well-paid coon buffer groups to attempt to change the subject. They send in a buffer group and say, damn it, change the damn subject. You know, white daddy is bad, but what about these black folkses? These black folkses don't be letting us do what we wants to do. And black people as a group, we are going to have to make a decision whether or not we are going to allow these internal Trojan horse turncoat buffer classes, if we're going to listen to them, or whether we're just going to block them as we see them and cut them out of the discussion altogether. Let us be clear. There is no room in black society for anybody who attempts to change the subject from dismantling white supremacy. There's no room for you. Because when you say that, what you're saying is that being gay is more important than being black. That's their way of saying I'm connected to white society. Did you see how I made that connection there for you? It's about interracial sexual access. He's not offended, hurt, or concerned about being victimized, brutalized, or killed for being black. Because remember, in the minds of interracialist, intersectionalist coons, interracial sexual access is worth dying for. Do you understand that? You just think about your black male bed bucks. Just understand, for LGBT, interracial sexual access is worth dying for. So they are willing to die, kill, stab black society in the back, humiliate themselves, denigrate themselves. I mean, remember, they already do slave play with white daddy. Behind closed doors, every single one of these folks that you see on Twitter and Instagram acting like a damn fool, just remember, all of them are already doing slave play, remember? ALL, all of them are already doing it. So they don't mind going out and being destroyed. Remember Coleman Cruz. Remember him? Do you remember him? Yeah, as soon as it was time to talk about reparations, they sent out this moist Jolly Rancher booty nigga to sit up here and tell you, well, it ain't about white supremacy. Then you find out he's part of slave play Twitter. They don't find these folk from just nowhere. The Congress didn't invite him out of nowhere. They haven't invited the new black media, but they invited this butt-broken male bedwench. It's not accidental. It's not accidental. They know what they're doing. So as black people, you got to understand the levels of the buffer class strategy. That you are looking at people and you're saying to yourself, I know what's going on. That guy is white. That guy is Latino. That guy is gay. That guy is black. Without you understanding that they've already maneuvered the pieces on the chessboard, the pawns and the rooks are already in place. And now they just want to mobilize them. They just want to mobilize them now. And as black people, these individuals are willing to sell every single one of us out if it gains them interracial sexual access. They're willing to sell all of us out, and they're doing it now. They're doing it now. Between the Diamonds and Silks and the Coleman Cruises, they're doing it now. Now, you didn't think that they were going to allow us to put the black empowerment agenda on the front burner and they were just going to sit back and do nothing. You didn't think that was going to happen, did you? No, they're trotting out the same old playbook. People have been asking me for the longest time, Jason, do you think that the Democrats are going to give up on their benign neglect strategy, on their hateful indifference strategy? I said, hell no. They're going to roll this damn thing till the wheels come off. They're going to roll it till the wheels come off. There is 0% chance that they're going to embrace a black empowerment agenda. No way. They're just going to sit here and nod at us and say, I marched with Dr. King. And as soon as they leave the room, yeah, we really need to enfranchise these illegals and these gays. That's what we really need to be doing. We need to focus on that. That's what we really need to focus on. And all the things they told you they couldn't do for us, all the things they told you it would be too hard and too difficult to get done for black people, all that stuff they've been telling you about all this time, just how we just can't make it happen for you. Take a look, as they're telling you before they even get into office, take a look at what we can do for everybody else. Everybody except you. So what they want to see is whether or not we're going to go for it. They want to see whether or not we're going to handle that. They want to see whether or not we are going to let that go. Do you understand that? Your old black media isn't saying that because they're trying to get a job back at the white media establishment. They're trying to get a job back over there, the very folk that we've been talking about. But then again, they are members of the buffer classes as well, aren't they? Roland Martin, Joy Reid, Congressman Jackson Lee, whatever. They're members of the buffer classes too. And you got to understand, Black empowerment is a threat to them. Black empowerment is a threat to them. Because if we become empowered as a group, we're going to expect them niggas to start carrying their own damn weight. You have to understand, white supremacy is a tool by which you use ethnicity to be able to get benefits without earning them. You get given things and given power and given authority and given benefits, but you didn't earn them. And that's the way that your Negro buffer classes think. They think they gonna be the niggas on the porch with Massa. They gonna be Steven from Django Unchained. Let me try this a different way. They believe, they have accepted, not they believe, they have accepted the Faustian bargain that Dr. John Henry Clark talked about. They have accepted the number 2 position. They said, damn, earning something. I'm going to fight to get that number 2 slot. If you'll just give it to me. And of course, when you've got some jughead ass nigga like Roland Martin, a guy who's never earned anything, who's roundly getting his ass kicked out here in the real world, just understand. And furthermore, when you're dealing with a butt-broken beta coon like him, you got to understand, he already doesn't get any respect among black people, and he already doesn't get any respect among black men. He already don't get it. So you see, as far as he's concerned, he ain't got nothing to lose. He ain't got nothing to lose. He's already at the bottom of the damn barrel. He doesn't mind looking a fool and buck dancing for Hillary Clinton or anybody. He doesn't mind that. He ain't got nothing to lose now. He already sold his soul to the game. He ain't worried about looking stupid. He's been looking stupid. Same thing for John Lewis. He's not worried about looking dumb. John Lewis was the slow back of the classroom nigga, and that's why they elevated him. If John Lewis hadn't gotten put up as a damn puppet statue mascot by white supremacy, if John Lewis hadn't become white supremacy's mascot, John Lewis would be scrubbing toilets at a Walmart today. And you know I'm telling the damn truth. John Lewis would be that mush mouth, milk dud head shaped deacon at your church. Hey, yeah, baby, what's going on there? You know, I marched with Dr. King back in the day. Yes, Lord. Forgive. You know, y'all should come and join me for Bible study at my house this Thursday. Yes, forgive. Y'all know them old niggas in the church? Yes. That'd be John Lewis. That'd be him today. You know damn well that would be him. That nigga would be pushing a broom at a Greyhound bus station if it wasn't for kissing white folks' asses for the last 5 damn decades. Tell me what else he's qualified to do. This nigga can't even sing along with Barney. He ain't even quick enough to do that. So of course he's gonna talk the way he's talking. Of course he is. What the hell does he have to lose? He knows the rest of us ain't gonna give him nothing. We gonna say, Grandpa Lewis, you know, you telling that old story about how you was young and cowardly and was thanking white folks for whipping your ass. Yeah, we ain't really trying to have that. Now they want to, you got some fools talking about renaming Edmund Pettus Bridge into Edmund Punkus Bridge. Because John Lewis got punked out on the damn bridge and been thrilling white folks with that story ever since. Talk about a damn Uncle Remus. All the little white kids sit around, hey, Uncle John Lewis, tell us that story again. We love to hear that story. Well, back in the days, I was not way, way long time ago in the valley, far, far away. I was back there. There was a little cute little white girl named Miss Ann, but she didn't really know this man. But that's all right. We was marching with Dr. King across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. We was getting some good fodder. Then this big fat Santa Claus looking bastard named Bull Connor. I told him, thank you, sir. May I have another knot upside my head? And they sitting up here clapping their hands. Ooh, tell us that one again. Tell us about how you got buck broken. Tell us about how you confronted white supremacy and it steamrolled your old ass. Tell us about how much you enjoy the status quo. Tell us about that one. Tell us that story again, Uncle John. Tell us that story again. Now, I bet you if John Lewis was telling them stories, how do you all think that John Lewis would be the hero of the white media and white liberals today if the story went like, well, I was on Edmund Pettus Bridge, and the first time one of them damn Ku Klux Klan ran up here, he said, boy, get off this bridge. He poked me with his nightstick. I whooped his ass, took that nightstick, and tried to break his damn skull in two up there. We sent him on the run. We sent him on the run on that bridge. We was messing up the dogs. We was beating up the little old ladies. We was messing up. Do you think they'd be thrilling you with that and saying, ooh, he's a hero? Do you think they'd be saying that now? No, I spill blood in Selma. I spill blood in Selma instead of I shed blood. He talking about I shed blood in Selma. Instead of I spill blood on that bridge. I ripped some blood in Selma. I drew blood in Selma instead of I shed blood. That nigga didn't spill no blood in Selma except his own. He didn't spill no blood, people. He shed blood. That's another damn lie they keep telling. That nigga didn't spill no blood. The proper context of spilling blood is you spill somebody else's. He never did that. He didn't spill blood in Selma. He shed blood in Selma. But if he was telling people, I drew blood in Selma, I drew blood on some white supremacists, do you think they'd be holding him up as a, quote, civil rights icon today if he let you know that his definition of civil rights was put your hands on me and I'm sending you to the hospital if you're lucky and the cemetery if you're unlucky? Do you think they'd still be saying that? If that was the way the story went, sit down, little Billy and Brad and Becky. Let me tell you something about your damn granddaddy. I mean, if he sat down like Samuel L. Jackson in The Hateful Eight, when the white colonel wanted to know what happened to his son, and Samuel Jackson said, well, sit down, I'll tell you what happened to your son during the Civil War. I'll tell you what happened to him. Do you think they would be cheering John Lewis if the story went like that? For those of you who haven't seen The Hateful Eight, You can go watch it for yourself. If you've never seen that one, it's worth it for just that. It's worth it for that part. Oh, yeah. All the white folk who love Quentin Tarantino's movies, you notice they don't never talk about the Hateful Eight. They love talking about Inglorious Bastards and Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill. They talk about everything except the Hateful Eight. They'll even talk about Django a little bit. They don't like to talk about the Hateful Eight. You go on YouTube, you see folk explaining all them Quentin Tarantino movies, but they don't like to talk about Hateful Eight. You don't see them doing a step-by-step analysis of Hateful Eight. Don't nobody like that movie. By the way, all them Quentin Tarantino art movie fans, boy, they sure hate the Hateful Eight, though. They don't like that one. So if you ain't seen the Hateful Eight, go check it out. When Samuel L. Jackson is talking to the Colonel, and you tell me if John Lewis sat down the little white girls and little white boys and said, let me tell you what about the time I drew blood on Edmund Pettus Bridge, I wonder if they'd still be singing his praises today. I wonder if they'd be doing that. So if you want to know another part of these buffer classes, them old niggas are another member of the buffer classes. Because they know they can't be white, but they have been broken. So they support the white power structure against black people indirectly because they're broken. They come back and tell us that the highest form of citizenship is to kiss white folks' asses and to convince the world that we're harmless and that we don't want nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. John Lewis said to tell the world that the only thing black folk want is gay marriage and illegals, that's what we want. John Lewis is going around telling folks that black people want gay marriage. He's going around telling folks that that's what you notice that with the demonstrations in the streets and the uprisings, notice John Lewis isn't out there. You don't hear John Lewis talking about the police. He loves telling you that story about how he got his ass broke open on Edmund Pettus Bridge, but he don't want to talk about the police now. He don't want to come out and share that story now. You know why? Because he knows niggas would run his ass up out the frame if he tried talking that mess now. Because it's not his ass that'll get whooped today, it'll be yours. So he won't be advocating for an ass beating for himself. He'll be advocating for one for you now. Well, you know, when I was your age, white folks used to punk me. That's what John Lewis wants to sell to us now. When I was your age, I got in good trouble. Y'all young folks out there fighting with these white supremacists, y'all is getting in the bad trouble. When I was your age, I got in the good trouble. I was going to overcome them with my capacity to forgive. But y'all need to learn how to take some lumps. The media has already told him, don't go out there. They're going to literally run your old ass out the building. Don't go out there. That's why John don't want to show up now. Because he knows what it's going to be. We're going to take a very brief, commercial break. When we come back, we are going to further discuss about The buffer class strategy might even take your phone calls. This is the Black Channel.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I hope y'all wearing your mask everywhere you go, and more specifically that KN95, protecting against all the germs that are in the air. But also, I want to tell y'all one more thing to stay safe. Hand sanitizer, but with aloe vera. So you put some of this on, you rub it around. Not only do you knock all the germs, but the aloe vera smells so amazing that you're killing two birds with one stone without drying out your skin. Because traditional hand sanitizer leaves your hands feeling clammy and disgusting. So definitely get hand sanitizer with aloe vera. So one more thing I want to tell you about though, this code right here, cut the check. So let's say you bought a couple of masks, you bought a couple hand sanitizers, and your order exceeds $50. We waive the shipping fee with the code cut the check. So on your checkout, remember to put that in.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are living in extreme times right now as to where we need protection. If you're looking for tactical gear, whether it's for work purposes or protect yourself in your home, come and check out Center Fire Tactical Gear. We have the best tactical gear for you. We have the top of the line name brand companies such as AR500, Chase Tactical, and many more. Also, we're carrying the KN95 mask as well. Check us out at www.centerfiretacticalgear.com.
This is the Black Channel. And tonight we are discussing the buffer class strategy. For those of you who are unaware, this is a tweet put up just a couple of days ago by would-be President Joe Biden, letting you know that there is nothing for Black folk except excuses. No reparations, can't do anything for Black folk. No reparations, we can't do anything specifically for Black people, but he'll proudly tell you, we'll do something for illegal aliens, though, so that we can use them to replace that Black vote that is no longer supporting me. So if you want to know what his strategy is to deal with the Black vote that is no longer supporting the Democrats, they're letting you know this is the strategy. We will just legitimize all these other groups and we will use them to take your place. That's what we're going to do. We'll legitimize these other groups. These other groups will be brought in and they will take your place. And from here on in, Black people will be marginal at best. Now, these other buffer classes don't really realize what's going to happen. They don't really realize what it's going to be. Because there's a trick bag. There's a trick bag too, for those of you who are unaware. And the trick bag is that once these buffer classes get here and they get legitimized, they're going to start behaving like the white supremacists. Now, there's a reason why Republicans don't have a problem with this. They don't have a problem with this because these are your Republicans. Your Republicans already know the ethnic rivalries and the ethnic animosities that exist between these various Latino groups today. And individuals like Ron DeSantis, who is just the chosen ringmaster of the buffer classes where he is, among Latinos, he's been chosen for that purpose. So his job is to get the Latinos to say, well, he's one of us. And for the dumbass, once again, I have to reiterate, for the dumbass who might try to make a distinction between DeSantis being Italian or Latino, that's not the point. The point is, even he isn't at the top of that Anglo food chain. He is the designated overseer. And his job is to get the Latinos to drop their guard and go along with the game. But he knows how to play them against each other. That's the deal. They know how to play them against each other, and his job is simply to convince them that he's part of that European culture that understands who the enemy is. He's part of that culture. That's the point that you have to understand. He gets that. He gets it. The real question is, do you? Do you understand that both your Democrats and your Republicans are both instituting a buffer class strategy? Do you understand that both sides are playing this game where essentially the strategy is anybody but black folk? Because black people are the only people who have a vested interest in dismantling the white supremacist system. And all these other groups, including coons in black society, have a vested interest in maintaining it. They have a vested interest in maintaining the system how it is. So as black people, you might not understand how serious it is, but they do. They do. And I want you to understand that they see a path in the future to assimilate all of these other groups. And you might tell yourself, well, you know, it's not really going to be genuine. White supremacy is built upon deception, including self-deception. White supremacy isn't based upon your standards. It's not based upon logic or reason. It is based upon power. It's based upon power. And at the end of the day, if you can get all of these people to accept you as the top of the food chain, then what they're ultimately going to say is, well, once everybody accepts that, then we'll just see if we can rule things from the bottom. We'll see if we can rule it from there. And that's the way that it'll be. We'll just get everybody to let us run things from the top like South Africa. And we'll be in charge that way. But you're going to have to start cultivating these buffer groups now, while you're still in charge now, while you still got sway now, so you can build these attachments and links and alliances now, so that you got these lineages that go back decades and centuries. Hey, remember us? We've always been allies to Latinos, remember? We've always been allies. We've always been the folk you could trust. Remember, we did stuff for you going back 100 years, remember? You have no reason not to trust us. We've been doing stuff for you for a century, remember? That's the game that they're going to be playing with Latinos and are playing with them. That's the game now. For the purposes of ensuring the future. So that when their kids look back, that's all they're going to see. That they've always had this camaraderie with European white Anglo society. There's always been this camaraderie with them. And if you don't believe me, ask the Irish. The Irish went from being the white niggas of America to joining in with everybody else practicing white supremacy. And that didn't take a generation, that took a decade. It took a decade for them to just overlook everything that the Anglos had been doing to them the whole damn time. And all of a sudden, they were on board. Just that quick, they were on board. Up there in the north, places like Bensonhurst and whatnot, your Italians, your Irish, just as soon as white folk took their boots off their necks, they joined in with the rest of them, just as soon as they could. That's the game that they've been playing with us. As soon as they had the option of doing it, they went for it. The only question now is, are we going to be sensible enough with ourselves to see this? But this is the strategy going forward. Folks, 11 million. They don't have the time to wait because black folk have made it clear that we are insisting on a black agenda. You got to understand, we ain't asking for the same thing the rest of these folk are asking for. You got to understand that. The reason why they're so opposed to this is because we're not asking for the same thing that everybody else is asking for. We're asking for something different. We're asking for something that the rest of them are not entitled to. We are demanding the resources. The rest of these folk are not entitled to that. They've got no claim to it. They're not owed back pay. They're not owed any of that. They're asking for benefits up front. We're asking for overdue receipts. We have a claim that nobody else has. We have a claim that goes down to the root, down to the bedrock of the very foundations of Western society. We have a claim that nobody else has. You damn right. They're trying to get everyone on board attempting to nullify our claim. And they're trying to get everybody on board with the idea of nullifying us and saying black folk ain't owed nothing. Or at least if black people are owed anything, it ain't gonna be more than everybody else. It'll just be the same as everybody else. It just needs to be the same. This is why Joe Biden talking about, well, if we gonna give black folks reparations, let's make sure we give Native Americans reparations. He wants to see if he can get away with insulting us because he knows we're not going to support that. So then he'll say, well, we could have got reparations through if you had let us water it down. So you see, I was all in favor of a watered down reparations, when in reality, he's in favor of no reparations at all. He's in favor of none at all. This is about neutralizing and nullifying us. But he's not in favor of any reparations anywhere. Which is why he's doing what he's doing now. He's let you all know he understands this tweet is him conceding that he understands he doesn't have black support. He doesn't have it. Simone Sanders has failed. That's what the purpose of this is. This is Joe Biden conceding that Simone Sanders has failed. That she wasn't able to get the job done. That all that money they paid for in her loft in D.C., that's been money thrown down the damn drain. she couldn't close the deal. So Simone Sanders better look for a brand new white ass to smack her lips on, because you ain't gonna be riding on this one very much longer. Your future is measured in months, not years. It doesn't matter how this election goes, Simone Sanders is out on her ass. And he's letting you know we're just gonna start trying to cultivate an alternative to black people, period. But we're not giving nothing. We are here for a strategy of shutting black people down. We're not giving anything. We're not gonna give nothing. That's the strategy as it stands today. No games, no plan. They understand. If it's not going to be our way, then damn it, we're clearing the deck. We're going to clear the deck. That's it. The telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the black media. We do what no one else can because we are what no one else is. If you'd like to call in, this is your opportunity. Keep it brief, keep it sensible. But this is what they fear. Brothers and sisters from around the world understand this is about nullifying you. This is about dispossessing black people permanently. This is about putting together an apartheid state, an official apartheid state in Western society where black people are residents and that's it. And that it doesn't matter what you do, you will be permanently shackled to where you are, because you will now be permanently democratically shackled to where you are. They're going to tell you, well, black folk ain't going to get nothing. We took a vote. And police brutality is going to continue because we took a vote. And oh yeah, perpetual poverty is going to continue because we took a vote. And we all voted that you were going to lose. I'm telling you all right now, it's now or never. It is now or never for black people, for young black people, for the next generations. This is it. This is it. It's now or never. We're going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines. Caller from area code 469. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
John from Dallas.
John from Dallas, what's on your mind?
So it's interesting you mentioned that point about Irish people, because that's exactly what Biden is. Biden plans on being an Irish American. And talking, especially speaking of other undesirables, Trump himself, Scottish and German, two undesirables. But here's the thing: they all have sworn allegiance to white supremacy, and that's the team you play for. So while, like you said, we spend way too much time trying to analyze the different white ethnic groups, and then when in all reality, sure, white supremacy has a hierarchy, but the only important part is that we're on the bottom and we need to work our way up. And the one thing I want to ask you, and I'll just get off, is you got way too many people who are too concerned about, hinging our agenda on Trump winning, when that's really not the point. So could you please just enlighten people as far as what would be I'm assuming the strategy is going to be the same regardless of who wins. That's what I'm going to do. But could you please just enlighten some of these other people who are too stuck on this as far as what our strategy is? And other than that, be one, and thank you.
Well, I'm not concerned about necessarily which one of them wins. I think we've made a lot more progress with Trump because Trump has really just exposed to people that you have nowhere to hide. Now, Trump did the same thing Hillary Clinton was going to do. There hasn't been anything towards black people that Hillary Clinton did that Trump didn't, or that Trump has done that Hillary Clinton wasn't going to do. Trump hasn't done anything that Obama didn't do. You can't name anything that he's done that Obama didn't do or was going to do. Barack Obama wasn't putting police in jail for murdering black people. Barack Obama said, well, hopefully things will get better. But we don't have a strategy of anybody, quote unquote, winning. We are taking our power back and saying we are going to do what's in our best interest, either inside or outside of the system. But we're not playing the political game. You see, you got to understand, you're dealing with a bunch of folks in a lot of regards, they're still playing the political game. They're still playing the game that the Democrats and Republicans, so-called liberals and so-called conservatives set up for them. They're still playing that game. So when they hear us talking about we ain't got to play that game, they're like, oh, wait now, hold on, man. I don't understand that there. How you going to get the thing done and you ain't playing the game, brother? You got to play the game, brother. And then we tell them, no, we don't. So when they start talking about white allies, you got to understand, talking to a bunch of folks is like talking to Terry Crews. Terry Crews is one of them niggas still on the plantation. As far as he's concerned, how you gonna get your thing done outside the system? As a matter of fact, you all remember what Terry Crews said? Terry Crews said that if black people empowered themselves without white society, why, that was a bad thing. Remember? Terry Crews said that if black people empowered themselves outside of white society without white people's help, remember, if black folk empowered themselves without white allies, why, that would only create black supremacy. Now, he didn't say if black people empowered themselves, that'd be good. He said if we do it without white people. So Terry Crews is letting you all know he understands that he's a big, dumb, lump-headed, pea-brain jackass. He knows it. He knows he's not going to be leading anything. He knows that if he has to sit down at the table with the new black media, Dr. Claude Anderson and our ilk, he knows ain't going to be a voice for him. He knows he's got nothing to contribute. He knows that black society ain't looking for another big, dumb, washed up jock. He knows we ain't looking for that. So, of course, understand, he revealed what I told you at the beginning of the broadcast about the coon buffer class. He understands, no, nigga, you're not going to be able to sit here and be entertaining. We're not looking for another big black entertaining buck. We ain't looking for that. You're going to have to be able to contribute intellectually. You're going to have to be able to contribute substantively. You ain't going to be able to sit up here and say, hey, watch me dance. So he hears us talking about nation building. And he's letting you know. He let you know with that tweet why it was when that white man pulled on his scrotum that Terry just stood there in amazement. He let you know why he responded to that the way he did. Because he sees his relationship to white supremacy as the submissive. He's looking at the rest of us and saying, why the hell don't you niggas go along with the game? So he told you he sees black people empowering themselves as a threat. He sees that as a bad thing because he knows We ain't making no special seats for house niggas. Folks, there is no house nigga seat in black society. There isn't one. Hell, there isn't. This is going to be a little controversial when I say this, but in Atlanta, there ain't no house nigga seat in Atlanta. You can be on the city council, you can be the mayor, but there ain't no house nigga seat. There isn't. You just another nigga. You're just one of us. There is no special dispensation. You just one of us. That's what happens in majority black cities. There are no white asses to kiss. So you can get something for free. And Terry is saying, but if black people empower themselves without white folk, there won't be a white ass for me to kiss so I can get preferential treatment. And he's right. Ain't no black folk trying to figure out how to cast nobody on Dancing with the Stars. We're not trying to figure out how to get a new host on Hee Haw or Family Feud. These niggas is all out here trying to figure out how to be damn me game show hosts. But they know that in a prosperous black society, there is no house nigga seats. There's no reserved parking spot for the house nigga. And Terry knows that. So he's just letting white society know, I'm with y'all. Terry just let them know, hey, I'm with y'all, okay? I'm with y'all. I want y'all to know that these niggas is wilding out. They acting crazy. And I want to be on the record now. I just want you to see me on the record that these niggas is crazy. I ain't with them. I ain't with them. All that there they doing, I ain't doing that. No, sir. No, sir. But that's because Terry doesn't believe the day of reckoning is ever going to come. He's betting against black people. And you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad that in this day and age, the Doja Cats and the Terry Cruzes and all their ilk, everybody is on the record. Nobody can lie about what they really meant, what they really said, who they were really with. Nobody can lie about it. So just understand, that big dumbass nigga is saying it now, but that big blockhead nigga thinks he's going to get away with it. He's not smart enough. But it's going to come around. Believe me, it's going to come around. Caller from area code 646. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from 646. Last try. You're on live. Okay, caller from 646 is abducted. Caller from area code 438. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 438. Put down the baby oil, rubbing yourself up. You're on live.
Hello? Hello? Oh my God. This is like, I'm from Canada, Montreal, and I've been following you for years.
You must have been over there in the corner rubbing yourself up with baby oil and a rubber loofah and a feather boa. Am I interrupting something?
No, you're not interrupting nothing. It's my fault. Sorry.
What is your name and what is on your mind?
My name is Moses. Yeah, we just full behind you. I've been subscribing to your Patreon, and like you said, you're like always 100 years in front of everybody, and you always predict the future. And I'm with you all percent. I was just I was just wanted to say we support you and we're 100% behind you.
Thank you.
Uh, thank you, Black First. Thank you very much.
People, get it together. Caller from area code 843. You're on live in the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
CBS Tobias out of faith.
Wow, that wasn't very damn hard, people. You know, if you're actually sitting there by your damn phone and not playing in the kitchen, making chocolate chip cookies and empanadas, you can actually answer the phone in a timely manner. So, oh, Jason being rude. No. When you're actually sitting by the phone, this goes a lot quicker. Tobias out of Phoenix, what's going on?
Man, a couple of things. I saw on the news the other day, yesterday was just saw online, this Latino kid got shot by police in LA. And so I'm wondering, what like a day or so later, how many of those Latinos they're gonna say are black and brown brothers, or see how their politicians gonna start saying go vote, or they demand retribution, or when the cops decide to take the day off. Because when it's just us, the remedy is always this, hey, just go vote. Just go vote. Pull up pants, get a degree. And it's not working. And people are getting sick and tired. Because you got Joe Biden here saying the first thing he's going to do is do all this stuff with DACA and turn people came illegal. I'm not even mad. And they get the stuff. My issue is that the black politicians aren't fighting for us to get these subsidies and economics and these programs these other groups are. Now, those other groups what they're supposed to do.
Tobias,
our politicians aren't doing that.
Well, we as black folk in America, we gotta understand something. There's just a brutal reality that we're gonna have to just understand. Brother, we spend all this time taking a look at Africa and saying, man, take a look at those puppet politicians over there and those puppet governments over there. It's so obvious that them niggas is just all in the back pocket of the white supremacists. Man, we have the exact same dynamic right here. Exact same one. Sheila Jackson Lee, John Lewis, these niggas ain't nothing but the good luck Jonathan or whatever of America. We talk about the black puppets in Africa. Brother, they put the whole rank of them over here. Keith Ellison, yes, nigga, I'm talking about you. Keith Ellison and the rest of them, Bobby Rush. We sit up here and look at the rest of them and be like, well, those third world countries, man, it's so obvious that those are puppets, and then sitting over here with your politicians doing the exact same damn thing. Brother, the whole damn crop that we've chosen is rotten. The whole damn crop with the civil rights, and that's the other thing is these are the old niggas. See, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to clear the bull. Every black person within the sound of my voice, the deal now is clear the bull. Everybody out. Everybody. Nobody gets reelected. Nobody gets supported. Everybody out. Ain't no room for nobody. We are going to rebuild this franchise from the ground up. Nobody. Because if you was doing something for us, we'd have heard of your ass before now. So right now, we got to get over this bull crap of, well, maybe it was hard on them. Maybe there's a doubt. That's that bull crap we went for with Obama. Mm-hmm. Well, he can't say nothing for us. And then you had, you gotta understand, most black folk in black society before we came along, they were cool on selling cowardice to black people. Oh, if Barack Obama speak up for black folk, they would never say who this ominous they was, but okay. They, this mystical, magical boogeyman, they was gonna kill him. Okay, and what? They killed Kennedy. They killed Lincoln. They killed a number of white presidents. How in the hell is it this nigga gets to be special? No. Your job, you signed up for president. Your job is to put your life on the line. That's your damn job. That's your damn job. And what you have had is a bunch of church going, deacon sucking, boot licking, lap dogging, Cheerios eating, rose petals sniffing, multicolored drawers wearing Negroes out here telling you about how much they wish they were in a position to sell the rest of us out. Because the truth of the matter is, if the average nigga that voted for Obama could make to the White House themselves, they'd be up in there doing what he did. They'd be dancing to Al Green. They'd be meeting celebrities. Ooh, child, I would be Beyonce. I'd be on Saturday Night Live. You wouldn't be doing a damn thing for black folk. And that's the truth. The folk who support Obama still, that's because if they were in his position, they wouldn't be doing a damn thing for us either. So they're like, why would I hold that against him? These Terry Crews niggas in black society. Yeah, they're all for it because they would be eager to sell us out too. They be doing it too. If you become president, you're supposed to be willing to lay down your life. And in his case, that's what it's supposed to be. And you're going to sit here and give him a pass? That just shows us how eager you were to sell us out.
You're right. And one thing is, I hate when black folks say, well, they can't do nothing. I look at it as like college football coaches. You know, being from Alabama, people don't know this. Before Nick Saban got there, Alabama went for probation finals this year, kept losing Auburn like 6-7 years in a row. They didn't give a damn about him, look why they lost. They said, we paying all this money, we're going to bring somebody else who will do the job. I'm tired of black folks saying, well, they can't do nothing. Well, why the hell did you vote them in then for family photo op? Because Donald Trump is out here not giving a damn what y'all say. One reason, yes, he's an open white supremacist. Yes, we get that. Joe Biden is as well. And he had that policy through his white supremacy. But Donald Trump is doing what he said he's doing. We talk about immigration, getting rid of illegal. He's saying what he's doing. He's actually lived up to a lot of his campaign promises. Obama didn't even live up to his campaign promises to black folks. Because, oh my bad, he only lived up to one. Having a photo out of a nuclear black family in a White House. And all these other groups got money. All these other groups got advocacy. But all we got were family photos and symbolism. They like, I know you gotta run. Like I saw this story about the family of the Aunt Jemima talking about that they want their picture removed. Damn the picture. Why did you get any royalty from using this woman's name? It's like in our society, people, it's like we don't understand finances and legacy, and you have to piss off white people to achieve. It's like we're so afraid of pissing off white people for our gain. And it's like, and it just keeps us stuck in its mind.
You got the black folk who are either afraid of upsetting white supremacy, or they don't really know how to negotiate and how to ask for anything of substance. So that these are niggas who ain't never had nothing. So for them, it's all about symbolism. Just any old petty thing you can have. You're talking about what I was talking about. So this week, you know, the Pepsi company that owns Aunt Jemima and the other company that owns Uncle Ben's. So they're talking about they want to change the look of those things. They want to change. I think in Aunt Jemima's case, they just want to get rid of it altogether and make it into something else. Now, for those of us who are 40 years old and older, you remember we were hearing this back in the 80s. Back when Aunt Jemima still had the bandana on her head. I was a child, and that Aunt Jemima still looked like Hattie McDaniels. So, and we were raising hell about that then. And they said the most they would do, okay, they gave her an update. They gave her a perm, and that was it. That was it. Business as usual. Now listen to what the hell I'm talking about. Brothers and sisters from around the world. I don't care if Aunt Jemima still got the bandana on their head. My people need to get paid for this. I don't want to hear you sit up here and do this symbolic crap. I ain't having it. I ain't having it. Do I want that look to change? Absolutely. But it's more important. If I got a choice between the two, my people need the resources. My people need that. If you gonna get paid off of her recipes And if you're going to get paid off of that look, and if you're going to get paid off her name, and if you're going to get paid off of black culture, my people got to get their bread. You got to cut that check. Because what they're going to do is reinvent the whole damn thing, toss her out altogether, and say, we don't owe you niggas nothing. Now, that's what's about to happen. For those of you who are real slow, and your mamas was out there in the streets, and your daddy was a deadbeat, and you've never learned how to think about things in a logical manner, they're getting what they're about to do is get rid of Aunt Jemima altogether and tell black folks, you know what? We're going to make a brand new recipe. We're going to call it something else, and we don't owe y'all nothing. We just want to put that behind us. So your company's profitability was built off of us, and now you're going to try to disown it. So what needs to happen is if you're going to make Aunt Jemima, we're going to make Aunt Jemima. You're going to get the flour and the ingredients from black farmers. Aunt Jemima is going to be a boutique product. We're going to get the flour and the ingredients from black farmers. Aunt Jemima syrup. You're going to get the syrup from black farmers. Uncle Ben's rice. You gonna get the rice from black rice farmers. And as I pointed out to you all here last week and the week before that, do you realize what an incredible boost that would be for just one or two black farms to be able to have that kind of contract? Do you know this the type of planning they would be able to do for the long term? No more short-term planning. They could do real substantial long-term planning. Yes, same thing for cream of wheat. We can go down on the damn list. Yes. We got black farmers suing the damn federal government and everything else. Okay, after you get that check from the government, though, you're going to shrivel up and die if you can't get these folks to give you contracts through these other businesses. No, damn Arthur Daniels Midland and the rest of them, y'all need to be dealing with these black farmers. I don't want to hear your apology. I don't want to hear no symbolism because I can't trust your apology. You all remember me telling y'all this here years ago. I can't trust your apology. I don't want your apology because I can't trust it. Do you know what I can trust? Dollars in the bank. I can trust that. Now that I can believe. So save your apology. Save your white tears. Save your, oh, I didn't know this, that, and the other. You can apologize with these zeros on this bank account. That's where you can deposit your apology at the bank. And we'll call that sincerity. Because I don't know if you're sincere or not. When you say you apologize, I don't know if you're sincere. I'll take your money and we'll call that sincerity. We'll call that being sincere. I'll let you have the last word.
Oh, I'll say it. Thanks for taking my call. And with black people out there who keep saying, well, what do you expect these black politicians to do? Look at what Marion Barry did in Washington, D.C. And there was a reason that white people try to tarnish his name. Because we was like early teenagers when he got caught up and everything. But black folks still stood by him because of what he did for the black community. He made sure black folks got contracts. And what black people, what y'all don't get is, with those contracts, with those businesses, that means he can hire, that black businessman can hire your son as a teenager to get a job. Where that a brother may get out of prison and got a job to come back to. And also, like you said, the long-term planning, and plus that money staying with the community. Because what's the point of having, like, yes, it's great to have the business, but if you aren't getting those contracts, you only going to be able to do so much and not have that viability that some of these white farmers are getting. So you're going to have to ruffle some feathers, crack some eggs to make that omelet to get what you can. Because I don't care about your apology. I don't care about all of that. Because in the words of Jada Kiss, my son can't eat these black. But hey, you guys have a good one, man. It's Blackbird.
Blackbird, brother, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Please do give us a call again. Folks, you got to have an agenda. You got to have an agenda. You got to know what it is that you're actually building. Everybody wants to talk about generational wealth, but when the opportunities are presented, Very few people know exactly what the hell to ask for. Their ego gets in the way. Angel, the picture of Aunt Jemima on the box ain't the damn problem. The problem is we don't own it. The problem is you all are profiting off of that image. If we were profiting off of it, we got every right to do so. We got every right to do it. That's our choice. Uncle Ben, okay, his existence isn't the problem. You profiting off of that, that's the problem. Cream of wheat, the existence of it isn't the problem. You profiting off of it is the problem. Now you got legacy money. All these things I'm talking about are what, 90, 100 years old? Got folks, grandparents and great grandparents been eating this stuff since all of us were children. And not a single black person made a dime. And now they want to tell you, well, now that we done milked all the money out of it and everything, we'll go ahead and scuttle the ship and hit the reset button. I'm like, no. You can keep it going like it is. Break my bread. We'll discuss that part of the game. But you got to actually understand having an economic agenda. You got to actually understand what that is. And once we control Aunt Jemima, we'll make her look however we want her to look. Once we control it. Let me get caller from area code 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Tony from Union City.
Tony from Union City. What's on your mind?
I want to tell you that I have to give props, man. And we got to learn to do that with black people and stop being jealous and hateful. Man, you're doing an excellent job. UP Black, Tariq, Blackness, excellent job. And my thing is, I want our people to know it's the same game when I told you earlier with the superhero thing. So if Joe Biden becomes president, okay, he's Superman. So if Tom Brady continues to play football, there's your Batman. And then if you got what's the name or what is this Carson, whatever Tucker, whatever the hell that nigga's name or dude name is, there's your Robin Hood. So the thing I'm saying to y'all is that it's all twisted. So I really need people to like tap into y'all and then like slow down, stop hating. I don't care. You know what? I don't judge you in any way. I don't judge none of y'all brothers in any kind of way. Even if I disagree sometimes, no. We need to understand and stop that. Stop that. If that's legitimate things going on, you need to be doing legitimate things.
Well, I couldn't imagine anybody disagreeing with anything I have to say. I mean, somebody could have disagreed with it, but I couldn't imagine why. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 501. You're on live with Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Curtis from Little Rock.
Curtis from Little Rock. What's on your mind?
I agree with everything you had to say. I've been following you for the past year and a half, and like you are a downright genius for our generation and the next one. I just want to say that. Be first from Arkansas.
All right, was that all you wanted to say?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 862. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, Jason? This is Kay from Queens.
Kay from Queens. What's on your mind?
So I had a question for you. So when we look at history, I think one of white supremacy's best strategy is using a buffer class against it. But I haven't seen like an African group that's been able to counter that successfully. So can you give us an example of like black people in the past who have countered it successfully?
Well, I think the Haitians did. I think they did a good job of dealing with that, at least at the beginning. But you have to understand white supremacy is a never-ending siege. So the real issue is being able to make it stick. I think Ethiopia did a good job of being able to keep them out for the most part, but it's really about, can you deal with this never ending siege, because they're going to come back. It is in their best interest. It's their method of survival. So it's not like they're going to, we're not used to somebody who's just going to make an eternal campaign of coming at us. That's just not something we're used to. We haven't wrapped our heads around the idea that this is going to be an eternal struggle. So I can name for the instances where, yes, we've been able to get those buffer classes out of the mix, but then what ends up happening is you have apostasy, you have individuals just as soon as things get high, one of them niggas you done had in your midst who've been waiting in the wings, he can't wait to get some interracial sexual access. And then they start, I mean, before you can even get settled, they're already trying to water down what you're doing. So this is why we're going to have a solidified Black agenda that starts and ends with us. We are going to have to embrace Black identity that starts and ends with us, so that we can actually get past the point of stopping white supremacy. That's step number one. And to the point of building Black excellence, that's number two. Because every time we start building Black excellence, here comes white supremacy to try to dismantle it, either from without or by empowering forces from within. So that would be the means you want to go. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 323. You're on live with Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, brother Jason Black. This is brother Elijah calling from San Diego, California, sir.
What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, yes, sir. I got a question. I'm gonna try to articulate it the best way I can. It's basically about these reparations, my brother. I was thinking this, and please correct me if I'm wrong at any time, sir. I was thinking, instead of us asking for a price tag with the reparations, don't you think we should have generational reparations, like for our youth, for their grandchildren? And then my other question is, should this be the best time for us to be, instead of not just talking about the police brutality, but we should really start putting reparations on the map while the attention is focused on us. And I still don't see major mouthpieces like the Tamika Mallory's, my songs. I'm not speaking ill against them, but they still are not mentioning that. All right, and we need all hands on deck in order to get this agenda pushed.
Well, as far as reparations is concerned, right now, I think definitely we need to stay focused on that. But that's not something that was caused by the George Floyd incident and murder and the events following it. So it's not dependent on it. We've been beating this drum way before now. So it's not really dependent on that, nor would I want it to be. Right now, you've got an opportunity during the major election cycle to really rein in the police. But like I said, we need to make sure that we understand this isn't about just one thing. It's not just about the police. It's about improving Black people's position, period. As far as what reparations should be, it's really misguided for us to try to encapsulate it in one thing. You'll notice that I'm not really big about giving out a number. I say the bidding can start at $15 trillion, but I'm not really big at giving a number. I'm more about having a range, not a number. I'm more about having a range, because the only reason we really have a number, or should I say a range, is so that Black folk understand we ain't supposed to walk away with nothing. This is just to make sure we don't walk away with some empty promise. So this is why when DJ Vlad and friends tried to sit up here and toss us with college education, we flicked that back. Got a lot of background noise on your line here, brother, but thank you very much for giving us a call. When they tried to give us, college education and, oh, you can take it in the form of scholarships, man, get the hell out of here. We ain't taking you didn't take it from us in the form of scholarships. We're not going to take it back in the form of scholarships. You took it from us as cash and resources, tangibles. You are going to return it with interest in the form in which you took it. We're not going to fall for a trick bag. You will give it back in the manner in which you took it. And we're not going to be shy about saying that. We're not going to be shy about it. So as Black people, it should be a range. It should be a range of things. It should be a range of what the value is. It should be a range. But I don't think it should be a number. Rather, it should be a range that we work within. So that we make sure that we haven't walked away empty-handed. As far as generational is concerned, everybody's got to take this seriously. This idea that everybody in Black society needs to be responsible before we can get reparations, that's a lie and a red herring. That's a lie and a red herring. As I told you all, if 20% of us use it correctly, that's enough. That's enough. If you owe it to 100% of us, but if 20% of us use it correctly, that'll be enough to turn things around. Their whole thing is about whether or not we can prevent that madness. And let me say something else to my brothers and sisters from around the world. If you get your reparations and you using it properly and you meet some twerking, jerking, neck jerking, skinny jeans wearing, rainbow draws slut out there who gets theirs, you have my permission to hustle them out of theirs. They weren't going to do nothing but lose it anyway. Let me get called from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It was good. Jason, the kid James from Plainfield, New Jersey. How you doing? Right now, he's out in Perth Amboy.
What's on your mind, brother?
I'm just going. Hey, man, I first want to say D1. Shout out to you. Shout out to the movement, the Black Strong movement. And, you know, I love Black women. I prefer Black women. I only holler at and mac at Black women, but I feel like it's safe to say, man, that we got to not only we got to deal with white supremacy, but we got to deal with the women in our homes, because I feel like Black women vote, we starting up with white supremacy.
Okay, brother, here's something I have to ask every time I hear something like that. Here's the one thing I got to ask before we can go any further. I hear niggas sit up and talk about they love Black women, they adore Black women, they only want to date Black women. What are you building for Black women?
Man, I feel like these days,
okay, now I just asked. I just asked the question. Everything that you said was about a benefit to you. I love Black women. I only want to date Black women. I only want to act like. Okay, but if you're not a benefit to a Black woman's life, what good are you?
Well, I feel like I am.
Okay, there's only one way to measure that. What are you building?
I build the knowledge.
The knowledge.
I want to build a nation.
Okay,
Black nation.
Brother, that's got nothing to do with you building. What are you offering Black women? What tangibles are you offering that will change and enhance and benefit their lives? Because all you talking about is laying up with them. I'm not going to look at that. Knowledge of what?
Knowledge of our history.
Okay, I said tangibles. You sound like the white politicians. Tangibles, nigga, tangibles. What's the tangibles you bring in?
I'll be protected, direction, guidance.
Guidance isn't a tangible. Guidance is an opinion. Economic. What economically are you offering Black women?
The lands, the property, the houses.
The lands, the property, the houses.
Need to own.
You have lands, property, and houses to offer them.
Not yet.
Okay. Then when you get to that point, you can start registering complaints. All you got right now is a list of what you want with nothing to justify it. Nothing at all. Except I want them to cooperate and I want to hang out with them Okay, and what are you offering to her life? My desire to hang out, lay up. If you're gonna be with a black woman, start being a man. And that begins with here's what I offer that enhances your life. From there, you can start registering complaints. But right now, you're offering these women, I've said this to you all a million times before, you're offering black women potential slash imaginary benefits. So they are offering you potential slash imaginary cooperation. If you ever want to stop, if you ever wanted to stop being imaginary, you have to get concrete and tangible if you want their cooperation to become concrete and tangible. Then you can register complaints. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. We ain't got time for the trick bag, folks. Everybody's got to be on board. Everybody's got to be doing their thing. Yes, the women got to come correct. Fellas, you got to be ready for it when it happens. You can't sit up here talking about what you expect from the women and there's nothing to offer. Furthermore, you got no means to cut her from the team. If she starts acting a fool, you got nothing to offer. We got a bunch of empty-handed niggas trying to offer women a bunch of empty-handed stuff, and she's offering you another empty hand back. Nobody's talking like adults about it. You're offering her imaginary benefits. She's offering you imaginary cooperation. That's it. Caller from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. My name is KG from Virginia.
Okay, I don't know if you got your mouth over the phone or if it's up under your neck or something, but wherever you're holding that phone, please reposition it.
Is this better?
Lord, she's calling us from a T-Mobile under the bed.
Can you hear me now, Jason?
Yes. What is your name? Where you calling from?
My name is KG, calling from Richmond, Virginia.
All right, KG, what's on your mind?
Well, I've been listening to you for a while now, and I do agree with just about everything that you say. America has been here trying to take advantage of us and our lineage, everything that we have fought for. Like you said, they're taking advantage of us. From the time that we picked all of the cotton, which when the cotton exchange was called the cotton exchange, now it's the stock exchange. They're taking up everything that we worked for. I totally agree with you. So I'm just calling tonight to try to get some of those points out today.
Okay, well, thank you very much for giving us a call. Please do give us a call again without your N95 mask on. Caller from area code 916. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. Caller from 916 has been abducted. Let me get caller from 404. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike in Atlanta.
Mike in Atlanta, what's on your mind?
So you educated me last time with the reparations and how the value of the land and the wealth that could have been built and whatnot. So my next question for you is twofold. The first is has to do with generational breeding. As far as the image that they promote now of being black people with the bronze skin and whatnot, the mixed black couples and everything like that, and how that ties as far as, like you said, with Asians, them having no problem with, mixing with Asians and Latinos because, that first generation, like you said, Keanu Reeves and stuff like that, but that next generation is going to look white. So what role is them having no problem with us as far as, like, he got The Rock. The Rock has that, he got that Samoan thing going on and whatnot. They have no problem with that. So what would be the long term as far as us black people in dealing with that generational breeding and how that's going to turn out? Because they know that black is going to be a dominant gene.
Well, I mean, it's going to work out the same way it's been working out. Nobody's going to go knee deep into genetic mixing with us. Nobody's going to do that because they know how it is.
All right, then my next question had to do with the reparations side of it, which is pretty much the whole building of a country, things like that. As far as after World War II, the U.S., rebuilding Germany, rebuilding Japan, education, things like that. with a reparations package, you just, you made it clear, a number would be 17, $18 trillion. But aside from that, what else? If I'm putting together a list and I'm trying to talk to other Black people and whatnot, what else would we really need to be asking for? And what can we model ourselves after what they did after World War II for those nations?
Well, last week I did a broadcast about that. I think I really need to put a link to the PDF, as a matter of fact. I made a PDF from last week, but if you haven't seen last week's program about the Black agenda, what are our demands, it really lays it out step by step. So if you haven't checked that out, you definitely want to do that. I'm going to probably see about posting a link to that PDF either on this video or the last one. I might be on both of them. But if you haven't seen last week's program, you definitely want to check that out. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Tonight, let me get called from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you go?
Hey, what's up, Jason? This is Mark from Chicago.
Mark from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Yo, I just had a couple of questions. I just want to know, do you have any thoughts on Kyrie Irving saying that all the basketball players should get together and form their own league?
I think that's a cute idea.
Hello?
I think that's a cute idea. Ultimately, that's just one thing among many.
Hey, the other question is, Pan-Africanism. Do you see that playing a role in our struggle?
Yes. Thank you for giving us a call. Caller from area code 718. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Peace, Jason. My name is Lisa. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And first and foremost, I just wanted to thank you for all your contributions. B1. My issue is I have been trying to compile lists of people that I do know and letting them know to contact all of the elected officials, especially the Democratic group, to keep pushing the fact that we need reparations or they will not receive our votes. And of course, we do have a lot of sample coons out there who will continue to keep telling us, no, we have to vote for Democrats, we have to vote for Biden, even with his long history of open white supremacy. And I just wanted to know, is there another way or another avenue in which I can do my part also to help people to get on board? I do know that we do have to leave some of the coons alone, and we have to continue to work with the conscious people, which I have been doing.
Well, first of
I
all,
was raised by a very strong, powerful Black mother who speaks exactly the way you speak. She's probably listening right now, who appreciates you. So I just wanted to know if you can just give me some pointers, because I'm very frustrated of what I can do.
I'll see if we can help you with that. First of all, the most important decision a Black woman can make is the quality of the man in her life. So if you do not have a Black man of substance, of intelligence, of ambition, of means, you're half a woman. And the amount of progress that you're going to make is going to be very, very needed. So it's not enough for you to just feel a certain way, because I noticed you mentioned your mom. You didn't say anything about your dad.
He passed away, but he did teach me all of this as well.
That's good. You're going to be, but your progress is really going to be determined by the man you have. If you're trying to do it by yourself, you're going to be very limited. And that's just the reality.
Okay.
Second of all, you are a cell within the Black body. If you are a weak cell, then you're not really a credit to us. If you are a strong cell, you are a credit to us. If you are financially strapped and disadvantaged, if you are irresponsible, if you are weak, if you are not intelligent, you don't have anything to contribute to us at all. So the next thing will be for you to make sure that if you're going to be a part of the Black body, you must be a strong cell, not a weak one.
Understood. Okay, I'm definitely a strong cell.
If you do that, then that makes all the difference in the world. Because from there, right now, more than anything, like right now, what Black society needs is really Black people. We really need an affluent Black class is what we need. That's what everybody else has. We need affluent Black people who ain't on the dumb stuff. who are not focused on buying.
Right.
They don't get a job so they can get them some shoes and a car. We need black folk who are concerned about getting their resources together so that they can exercise real power in the society. But if you're not one of those people, you need to become one of those people. Otherwise, you have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of thoughts, you have a lot of feelings, you have a lot of intentions, and absolutely no way to accomplish any of them. So those would be the
Okay.
two primary things you need to do. Sounds very simple, but it actually gets very involved. But without those,
Right.
without those, you don't have a lot of leverage. You just don't. And other people will not take you seriously because in order to get other people to take you seriously, they're going to have to look at you and say that that's somebody they want to be with. Give yourself the credibility to have that conversation with them. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Please give us a call again. Let me get caller from area code 302. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? This nigga sounds like they making some brandy. Okay, well, let them get back to drinking their life away. Caller from area code 315. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Syracuse.
Try that again.
Jerome, Syracuse.
Jerome from Syracuse. What's on your mind?
And I have to say, I have one question. I want to see what your take is on the hangings that have been going on. I know it's just a little bit off topic, but I think, cops are way more involved in it than, than people know. Sorry, a little nervous talking.
I think everybody needs to be on guard
also,
about that. I don't think
also,
anyone needs to take that lightly. This isn't just coming out of nowhere. When you see all of this happening together like this, I think it would be horribly irresponsible for people to sit up and act like this is just some weird mathematical coincidence. No, they see black folk making ground. They see the police in retreat. So, of course, retaliation is going on. It's always the same MO. They catch one black person off by themselves somewhere. It's like it's the wounded gazelle strategy. They want to catch one of you by yourselves somewhere so they can commit a crime. And of course, the police are in on it. That's a given. Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 404. You're on live with Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening.
What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good evening, Jason. My name is Amir from Atlanta.
Okay. We get caller from area code 469. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This time was calling from Dallas.
Thomas from Dallas. What's on your mind?
Yeah, what's up, Jason, man? I think what the problem that you have tonight with people, man, is they're not listening. I can say this, I'm going to say it time after time, people just listen. We've been saying this for over 10 years. The black media has put the police on their ass, has put the world on their ass. I mean, if it wasn't for the black media and what y'all been speaking for the past few years, these politicians are running like chickens with their heads cut off because they don't know how to control it. It's impossible to control it. What you've been speaking, man, it's been shaking the world up. And I want people to understand that if you would just listen and learn, study from Jason, study everything that you can study because we are at war right now. If you don't understand that, I don't know what planet you've been living on, I don't know what you've been doing, but we are at war. So of course they're gonna come in, of course they're gonna hang us in trees, of course they're gonna shoot at us. You gotta be ready. You've been telling people for over 10 years to get ready. And they still calling in and asking dumbass questions. People just listen and learn. That's all you gotta do. And pay attention and get your economics together. Money is power. You've been telling people that for as long as that money is power. That's how we're gonna win this thing.
I couldn't have said it better myself. at this stage of the game with a bunch of people asking sophomoric questions, not paying attention and
It
whatnot.
don't make sense.
You get caught off by yourself, man. It's not accidental. You can go skipping through the park pretending. I mean, you got a bunch of folk out here with a damn lollipop in one hand and licorice in the other, trying to skip their way through a war zone. You're in the middle of a war zone and you're trying to skip and dance your way through it, and all you're going to do is get yourself taken out. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now you're going to get called from area code 267. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, I'm Real Beauty is 25 in the chat, but my name is Gail, and I'm from Philly. What I wanted to say is, me and my brother was going out to run some errands together in the midst of this COVID-19 madness, and I wanted to show him a small example of economic empowerment, because he was saying, I don't see how the government could, just give us an industry. So I said, all right. I said, look around as we drive through the neighborhood. I said, you see all those little local home health agencies that popped up in the past couple of years? I said, those are not 30 and 40 years old, right? He said, no, just the past couple of years. I said, let's start looking up the name of some of them and let's see who the owners of these businesses are that just popped up out of nowhere. Well, they were all names that we couldn't even hardly begin to pronounce, all foreigners. I said, that industry that could have been given to us, like our entrepreneur class, people that go to those little entrepreneur things at the at City Hall and their area city centers when they have all of that and they're looking for a business investment. That's something that could have been given to those people. But instead, it was just given away like everything else.
Well, I mean, the same thing is like out there in California.
Industry, but the city.
Well, out there, here's the thing, baby. Out there in California, you see the same thing though, because with the marijuana licenses, and I covered that here, they've chosen a bunch of Greek folk, for example. You see a bunch of Greeks. A bunch of Argentinian, not Argentinian, like Kim Kardashian. You have a lot of barking going on back there behind you. Thank you very much for giving us a call. I'm not sure what's going on back there. There's a lot of squilling going on. But Armenian, you have a bunch of Armenian names on the list of folk in California getting those marijuana licenses. You have a bunch of Armenian names. So this is how they choose people. So, of course, they've been doing this for a while in the taxi cab industry, in the liquor store industry, a bunch of liquor licenses to Arabs. It's not accidental. It's not accidental. They know what they're doing. It's not accidental. Caller from area code 708. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Triple T calling from Chicago. Been a minute, B1. I'm thinking how there's a lot of things that our people need to pay attention to. And we get better and wake up as many as we can. Talk to a neighbor, a couple of years older than myself, already in retirement. And he said something that my very sharp young entrepreneurial nephew in Birmingham said. Basically, Black people will not pull it together like they need to. And I said, well, we're going to have to, because we may not get the opportunity that we have right now. It may not come 50 years. There's no cycle. There's nothing that promises us that we'll get another good shot like this. So I go in hard on those in my generation, because maybe I was, not even maybe, I was too interested in myself when I was in, quote, the power of my physical self. But the power of my mental self right now is on fire. And I see my wife, who had to be a soldier during the race riots of the 80s, protecting herself and her skinny little brother. Going to school every day, beating down because it needs to be beat down. Now she's awake to the point where she's like, who needs the Democratic Party? I'm like, time is coming now. I give this example about how we have to be awake and pay attention to so many different things. Black people, look at your community and the way you allow them to be run. I give a concrete example
Well, it's not
My
about the way
sister
in
went
which you.
to
It's not about the way in which you allow them to be run, though. That's a real thing I want you to understand. As black people, they're not.
That's
being
what I
run.
want to illustrate.
The real thing is they're not being run. That's the real issue. I'll let you have the last word, but we're going to need to make this up quickly because we need to. I need to get everybody in here as quick as I can. So I can give you about 10 seconds, and then let's move on.
Okay. Be on top of those who you have given the electoral power to. I'm looking to have a conversation with Napoleon Harris here in Chicago and see if he has the black bag off his head. When Barack Obama came to our community as a senator, he had a black bag on his head and talked to these children, talked to the community like he could not treat any of the blacks. 20 years later, the same black is still there, yet intelligent people think this man was something to be respected. So we better get it together and go for the juggler. Every time you get those conversations, take no prisoners.
Well, as black people, as far as I'm concerned, as black people today, clear the deck. Anybody who was there with Obama, around Obama, at the time of Obama, I don't want to hear no excuses because none of them were against him. Nobody was talking against him. Nobody was saying, you know what, this nigga is fake. Nobody was doing that. As far as I'm concerned, everybody, Bobby Rush, all of them, everybody got to go, wipe the slate clean, and start over fresh with a whole new crop of individuals who walk in the door saying, I'm here to protect and promote a black agenda. If they don't have that, screw them.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 412. You're on live with the Black Channel.
Hello, Jason. This is Dee calling from Pittsburgh.
Dee from Pittsburgh was on your line.
Last episode I heard there was a woman that called in about the different, I guess, races and mixed races and receiving reparations. And I did actually agree with her. I'm just nervous that if we don't tell them who we are, we're going to go the way of the $5 Indian.
I'm
and
glad you said that.
Start doing what they want.
I'm glad you said that.
What you are.
I'm glad you said that because I think that's something that's worthy of a little bit of discussion. So I'm very glad you said that. So let me ask you, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, you're 27, so you're pretty young to be having this type of discussion. Let me ask you a question here. Did you understand what she was saying?
Well, I'm actually in the genetics molecular field. I understood what she was saying, but you don't want to break it down by percentages.
Okay, but wait. Stop. I'm asking you a question. Do you understand what she was saying?
I believe I did. I thought that she was asking, and this is my interpretation of it. You can tell me yours because maybe different. But I thought that she was saying that you have to tell them in the sand, let them know that we are melanated people. We are black people in America, and this is who deserves reparations, and this is who does not deserve reparations.
Okay, and who was she trying to say deserve reparations?
I thought she was just saying black people, the people that have been here through slavery, African Americans.
Okay. Now, she gave specifics, and I'm noticing you're not saying, I've asked you several times now, and you haven't even once said what she said. So now I'm like, okay, were you even listening? I've asked you several times what she said. Were you listening to anything she had to say at all, or is it just, I heard she said that if you mixed, you shouldn't talk about it. I knew that. Did you actually hear anything she said?
To be quite honest, that's how I took it. I heard that if you're mixed, or if you have
what you're saying,
you should not qualify.
What you're saying is you didn't actually listen to what she said. You heard she said something about if you're not completely black, whatever it is, you might not qualify, but you didn't hear anything beyond that. So let me remind you, ma'am, I'm explaining. I already asked you a question a bunch of times. You didn't once have an answer. I'm going to explain it to you now, okay? So nobody can say that I didn't give you an opportunity to say what you had to say, explain it. Jason, you're not letting her talk. I asked her several times. She didn't even hear what the woman said. She didn't even know. She still doesn't know. She said that if you are not 70% black, then you don't qualify for reparations. If you don't draw your lineage to the descendants of American slaves, 70%, then you don't qualify. That's what she said. Now I've told you what it was. That's what she said. Now, what do you think of that?
I don't really agree with that, to be honest. I don't think that you should start to get into percentages of DNA and going back that far. I think that it should be generational. If you were someone that ticked off, let's say, 2 generations ago, you've been black for 2 generations, then I feel like you have a better understanding of who you are and what the struggle is. These people that have come in and these biracial people, they don't exactly understand. They do get some track about who they are, but they don't quite understand like the melanated people do.
Okay, but that's not okay. But that's not telling us who doesn't qualify.
I would say who doesn't qualify is someone that is a mixture, someone that you can clearly see that their mother and their father, or I'm sorry, their mother or their father is not of black descent, or their grandmother and grandfather is not of black descent. If you go back 2 generations, I think that should be the cutoff, because at that point, that person that will be receiving the reparations, they understand the struggle. Two
Okay, go back 2 generations. Go back 2 generations. Wait a minute. Go back 2 generations of what?
2 generations of people. So if it, let's say my mother and father are both black, and then we go back a generation to my grandfather and grandmother, and they're both black. I think personally, and we can disagree, but I think personally that should allow you to qualify.
Okay.
If I go back
here's the issue here, okay? Here's the problem with what you just said. So what you're trying to do is basically say, well, this is a roundabout way, folks, for anybody not paying attention. This is a roundabout way of saying, well, 1/3 to 25%. That's a roundabout way of saying that. Now, here's the problem. Now, you're not going to say numbers because that's another slick way folks try to avoid saying what they're saying is putting a purity test. What you're doing is what she was trying to do. And I won't lie, I know this mostly comes from a lot of black females trying to play a purity test. If I disqualify the rest of them, that will elevate my stock. Here's the problem with purity tests. If you truly believe that we're looking to qualify people based on their purity, then why are you not just insisting on 100% and eliminating all question? Why aren't you just saying, well, if you're not 100% descendants of slaves, then you don't qualify? Why are you not setting the number? She didn't set the number at 100%, which is why I told her you're faulty and bogus, because why did you choose 60%? That's arbitrary. Why didn't you make the number 80 or 90? Why are you setting it at 70? That's just some emotional number you pull out of your head somewhere. Has nothing to do with science. Well, if you 70% black, then you look more black than somebody who is 60%. And I'm like, this woman is out of her mind before she is. But if you're going to pull a purity test, why is it the standard shouldn't be 100%? I'm asking you, why shouldn't the standard be, if we're going to make it a purity test, why don't we make the standard 100% and then eliminate all doubt?
So I believe that you should not do 100% because there has been a lot of mixing over here in America.
No. Can't get away with that one. Can't get away with that one either. That's a political argument you just made, not a genetic one.
Okay, so when it comes to genetics, nobody's going to be 100%.
No.
That doesn't.
But no, the argument you're making is a political one, not a genetic argument. Yet We're discussing people qualifying for a benefit based on a genetic basis.
So, I mean, so I work in a lab, and genetically, you would have to have someone to base everything off of. You would have to have a original group of people to base off of and say these were the original slaves. But I'm not quite sure that they have those DNA.
Right, and here's the problem we run into
every. Something up.
If you all want to know how to shut down anybody who tries to introduce that genetic purity test for qualifying for reparations, all you got to do is ask them, well, what if it's about purity? They're not going to use the word purity. They're just going to say who qualified is pussy. Just tell them, well, if you're trying to make a purity argument, why shouldn't the purity standard be 100%? Well, I mean, everybody ain't 100%. Yeah, okay, but if you've had 4 generations if you're 4 generations moved in the plantation fields, then if there was any race mixing in between, that wasn't something that the slave masters did. That was something that one of your later ancestors did on their own. So if they choose to introduce non-black lineage into the bloodline, that's now going to be incumbent on you because they chose to introduce that. So you're making a political argument, not a genetic one. Some dumbass in the chat room talking about what's Jason's answer. My answer is you should learn how to count, you ignoramus. That's my answer. My answer is stop rubbing yourself with patchouli oil and shut the hell up. That's my answer. There's always some jackass who can't count. What's the answer? The answer is if you are a descendant of if you carry the blood of the descendants of American slaves. That's the answer. The answer is we didn't start this mess, but we got the solution. And the solution is to white supremacy. You will pay for all of these. What disqualifies a person who carries the genetics is if the structure is only twofold because the genetics are not enough. Yeah, you may genetically qualify, but if you have never identified as black, well, you dispossessed yourself. Now, you can dispossess yourself, but I'm not going to open up a door to allow white society to decide which of us deserves it and which of us doesn't. For a lot of you ham-headed jackasses like the moron in the room in there, a bunch of you dumbass niggas don't understand that people like Richard Spencer and Professor Black Truth have been talking about this for over a decade, but a bunch of you idiots don't understand how white supremacists think. They believe in something called being genetically Caucasian. For those of you who are biologically, genetically, DNA illiterate, and certainly white supremacist illiterate. For those of you who've been sitting around with your beads and chakras and shaking your African-colored maracas like a baby in the crib. In my film, Race War, if you have the 3-disc version, for those of you who got the 3-disc version of Race War, that's the reason why I made that film. You can hear Richard Spencer say in the movie, just because you're Negro doesn't, just because you're black doesn't mean you're Negro. When I started grilling him about the Egyptians and the statues and everything else, he said, hey, well, no, you don't understand. Just because you're black doesn't mean you're Negro. Now, do you think you're going to get anybody past a United States senator who subscribes to the idea that just because you're black doesn't mean you're Negro? What do we mean by that? Because you got white supremacists who say that Nelson Mandela and the Khoisan, for those of you who don't know your African tribes, they say that Nelson Mandela and the Khoisan, who we know are not mixed with any white folk, you can't go, You can trace them back tens of thousands of years. So what the Caucasians did was they started saying, oh, those are white people. They're lighter skinned than the rest of you. So the way they explain it away is, oh, they're genetically white. They couldn't figure out a way that these people who look like Nelson Mandela have been there for tens of thousands of years. So the argument is, oh, they're genetically white. They look, we know you look at them and you think that they're black people, but just because they're black doesn't mean they're Negro. No, I'm not joking. Professor Black 2 did the video about this. We did this years ago. For those of you who are ignorant and don't know, and you're going to trip over that tripwire because nobody told you because you haven't researched the white supremacists. I made sure if I'm going to make a movie about white supremacy, I'm going to talk to some white supremacists so you can hear how their minds work. And he sat there and literally said, just because you're black doesn't mean you're Negro. Now, can you imagine what a weapon like that in the hands of Congressman Pete King, Steve King, Ted Cruz, for the boneheaded niggas out there who don't know how hard in the paint people are about white supremacy. You don't know anything about Egyptologists. You don't know anything about white supremacist geneticists. And you're going to go walk off into that thing talking about we're going to disqualify people. And then white men are sitting right there waiting saying, glad you said that, because according to genetics, we've got the means to disqualify all of you. And you didn't see that coming.
That's the reason I was saying just 2 generations back. No,
you can't. You keep saying that and I keep telling you no. No, you cannot. Get over it. No, ma'am. No, you can't. The standard is 2. There are only 2 qualifiers. Number 1, can we find that your genetics show that you are a descendant of American slaves? Can we prove it? Can we prove your lineage? Stop, ma'am.
You should not use the
ma'am.
Because they're going to do whatever they want with the genetics.
Ma'am, stop talking. You were asked to tell us what you know, and you did a lot. Stop talking. You keep trying to interject and reinforce what you don't know. The answer is only 2 things. You don't know it. Be quiet and learn. Number 1, can we trace your lineage back to the killing fields of America on either side of your family? Can we do that? Check box, yes. Number 2, have you ever identified as something other than black? Have you ever checked the box somewhere that said Hispanic, non-African, Hispanic anything, Latino anything? Have you ever done that? Because we ain't gonna play this game where you have a button. Now that $5 Indian thing you're talking about doesn't come from genetics, which is why I said be quiet. You don't understand. But you just want to keep jabbering. What you're talking about isn't something that you disprove with genetics. You disprove it with documentation. Because if they say they something else, we can go look up your Twitter. We can look up your Instagram. Oh, you don't identify as black. Shout out Amber Rose. Hat tip Amber Rose. Hat tip Doja Cat. Now, when you started threatening to cut off their money, all of a sudden they wanted to be black. No. We got your documentation. We got your paperwork. It's not hard to find. You can find where if a person has identified as something other than black, that won't be hard to follow. That won't be hard to get. There's going to be a driver's license. There's going to be an application. There's going to be a social media post. There's going to be something where they have had to choose what they are. Shout out Tiger Woods. See, there's a reason why Tiger Woods don't like talk of reparations. He understands that I cashed in my chips a long time ago. I don't qualify. If you look at my paperwork, I disqualified myself. So the reason that we allow the net to be far and wide for genetics is because if you sit up and say, well, if you ain't got a certain amount, you don't qualify, by the time them white men get done, they're going to disqualify all of us. So no, they invented the one drop rule. Damn it, you gonna live with it now. If you had given us our reparations 100 years ago, this would be a lot easier to sort out and the bill would be a lot smaller. You let this go on as long as it did, you will now pay the interest. And I'm going to do what you did at the beginning of the 20th century. I'm not going to be very discriminating about who gets to come over. And one more thing, whoever gets reparations, it needs to be publicly documented. Now that's the third thing. It needs to be publicly documented. So everybody who decides to make that leap, whether they wish to or not, I guarantee you will be permanently divorced from white society after you do this. Oh, you sure will be. Because somebody will be able to look you up and say, oh, you was one of them. Now you're trying to tiptoe back over here. Because let me tell you something right now. A white man is not going to have some bedwench who sat up here and talked about she was black and juiced the system and took it out their ass. He ain't going to have it. He ain't going to have it. That's going to be a mistake you make once. He's not going to let you sit up here and thrash them and then talk about I zaddy. He ain't going to have it. He's not going to have it. So as black people, the standard is, can I trace you back to the killing fields of America? If I can, you pass the genetic test. We're done with that. The only thing that can disqualify you now is if you have ever said you're not black. If I find something somewhere where you identified as Latina or any of that kind of bullcrap, I'm talking about documentation, something that matters. If I can find when you sitting up talking about you ain't black on social media, I'm not black, I'm Irish. I'm not black, I'm Dominican. I'm not black, I'm Trinidadian. I'm not black, I'm Cape Verdean. All right, we're done. You made a decision. You have made it clear you don't identify as black. You haven't. This is for the descendants of American slaves. You've already stated through your own mouth, yeah, your genetics say you are one, but you declared your independence. You declared your ineligibility. Now, when you make the standard like that, then you realize, oh, it's going to be very easy to determine who gets it and who doesn't. It'll be very easy. Now, to somebody who wants to try to say, well, what if you get some mixed folks and they ain't really got their black allegiance on point? Take a look at Terry Cruz's big black ass with some of the bull jive he says. Take a look at Clarence Thomas. Let me chat with Jesse Lee Peterson. I can show you a bunch of dark-skinned black folk who both sides of their damn families go back to the plantation, and these are the most buck-dancing, coolest niggas you ever met in your life. So I can't make that the standard. If that's what you're afraid of, ooh, they ain't got black allegiance. I can show you a bunch of dark-ass niggas ain't got black allegiance. And they're just as eligible as you and me. Some of them are darker than we are. So that's not going to be the standard. And the other issue that we have is that when it's time for us to discuss getting resources, first thing that happens is niggas flip into crabs in a barrel mode. They don't keep focused on the resources. They start looking to the left and the right and saying, hey, wait a minute, that nigga look like he gonna get something too. Let me see if there's a way to disqualify him. See, we haven't even gotten the loaf of bread to slice up or the pie to cut into pieces yet, and already got niggas in their minds war gaming and arguing over what they gonna get and see if they can disqualify someone else. Haven't even gotten anything to divide up yet, and already switched over into, well, let me see if I can stop you from getting something. And not even thinking about what you're gonna get. Let me stop this nigga over here. He might get something. Wait a minute, but before we can get reparations, we gotta talk about who ain't gonna get it. Because I think I don't like that idea. I mean, I'm getting something. I might screw this up. So I need to know if I'm gonna lose. I need to make sure somebody else loses too. I gotta make sure that them. So they would rather argue over that than to get us what we're owed. I want you all to think about that for a few moments. They would rather that we argue over minutia of genetics rather than to actually get paid, rather than to actually get what we deserve. And understand this, folks. Can you all understand? Do you know what would be the worst thing that could happen? Do you all know that what would be the worst thing that could happen in the course of getting reparations? If white society says, you know what? Fine. Reparations it is. We want black folk to gather together in every state, and we want for you all to determine a standard by which reparations will be given out. And you got 12 months to do it. Do you know what's going to happen? It's going to look like damn me opening night for Black Panther. A bunch of niggas dressed up, a bunch of hoes twerking, a bunch of jackasses who were taking Ritalin back in school, the lead pipe babies, the bastard babies, the lead water babies, the lead paint babies, the hood rats and hoes lined up with their kids, every drunk, every drug addict, every reprobate, some jackass with his dirty ass dashiki on, sitting up here wearing his paisley embroidery. Shout out Alfonso Williams. The females will show up with their denim jeans and their halter tops, with or without their bellies flopping over the belt loops, trying to look like a damn reincarnation of Erykah Badu from 97, with their head wrap and their incense and the sticks through the top. That's what the hell it'll look like, and they'll be sitting there talking about, now, if you have an African name, we will literally spend years, damn it, with niggas sitting around debating and arguing over, now, what is the name you got there, though? Now, your family, where exactly did they descend from here? And we need to measure that there. Was they a member of this tribe? Did they come from East Africa or West Africa? And did they come from this part of East Africa or West Africa? We must know this. We must understand this. And also, do you adhere to an African religion today, brother, is what we need to know. Do you adhere to a religion? Do you speak 3 of the native tongues of the mother continent is what we need to know. We have to understand that before we can do anything. Order, I call order in the plebiscite. I call a point of order in the plebiscite. Hand my tea over there. Hand my tea. Hand me the kush. I need to get blazed up. And that's what it'll descend into. And white folk know it. You want to know the reason why the founding fathers of America created a representative democracy because they understood that very little will get done if you leave it up to every ham-bone-headed jackass to have a word. Because he'll sit up here and bring his daddy issues, mommy issues, and his failure to develop. And meanwhile, nothing will get done. So we sit up here debating minutia and semantics and vernacular, and one nigga who's never had any power or authority in his life, which is where the LGBT come in, one nigga that's never been consequential in a discussion in his life will rather see us lose everything so that he can be important for 5 minutes. He would rather see us lose everything than to see us actually get it. Because he realizes the moment we get it, he doesn't matter anymore. If we give him the authority and the ability to be an obstacle. So the first thing we all need to agree on is we need to get this through. Period. And then anything else is minutia. I'm not worried about who gets it and who doesn't. I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm not going to make a bunch of bones about it. That's why I'm making the standards very, very minimal, very, very clear. It'll be very cut and dry. Because if we do what you're talking about, even though that's not your intention, and I understand it's not your intention, but you don't understand you're opening the door for all this. And you haven't really thought this through. But if you proceed down this road of, well, my insight and analysis as I have dissected the information, yeah, as I have set forth these rules standards for the president, oh, please. That's going to backfire in ways that you saw how quickly I was able to show you how it could backfire in your face. You hadn't even thought it over. But you would have made it all the way to Congress and given them the authority to do it and then figured out it ain't going to work. So make this really simple because it is. There's only 2 questions you have to answer. Number 1, are we owed? So I'm asking you right now, do you believe that the descendants of American slaves are owed? Okay. Are you most concerned about getting it or most concerned about disqualifying people from getting it? Then whatever we do next, you're just going to have to suck it up that the answer will not be perfect. The answer will not be ideal. It's not going to be something that if you had all the critical authority, you can sit down and write down all the list points and whatnot. It's not going to be perfect for me. It isn't perfect now. I'm Jason Black, entrepreneur and internet host. I'm not Jason Black, dictator for life. That'd be super cool, but it ain't happening. So it's not going to be perfect for any of us. It's not going to be adhering to any of us. But I think the one thing we can all agree on is that check needs to be deposited. Those benefits need to be tangible. And we're getting in our own way by erecting a bunch of obstacles that nobody asked us to. But they know nigga responses. Don't worry, leave them alone long enough. They'll start fighting with each other. Just like I've been saying through the whole program here tonight with Ron DeSantis up there in Florida. Send this guy, he's mobbed up with the Latinos. He's part of the buffer class. He'll go for it. They'll let him have it. And they'll get to arguing with each other. They went from arguing over who's going to be on top in the white supremacist system to who's going to be the pet. And they know that if they leave us alone long enough, we're going to start arguing like religion. It's going to become a purity test of who believes the right thing. Next thing you know, Pastor Cornbread that we chased out the damn block a decade ago is gonna be back. This old nigga is gonna reinvent himself. All of a sudden, he's gonna tell you, brothers and sisters, I've had an epiphany. It is no longer about Jesus Christ. It is about the original mother religion of Africa. It's gonna be, wait a minute, Creflo Dollar is talking about the original mother religion of Africa. Nigga, wasn't you trying to get a G6? Pipe down, though. But the point is, I have my eyes open. And as I read through the original text of the Torah, and next thing you know, there we go. There we go. So no, the standards need to be exactly what we said. Keep them there. Are there going to be some people who get it who probably shouldn't? Yeah, but that's going to happen no matter what you do. You're not going to stop that from occurring if your concern is people who shouldn't get it. We shouldn't let the biracials get it. Why? They don't have ethnic allegiance. Oh, you mean like dark-skinned ass Terry Crews and Tay Diggs? You mean like them? Their black genetics didn't help them become pro-black. Their black genetics didn't do a damn thing to help their ethnic allegiance. And you worried about some biracials. You worried about 2 generations. You worry about that. Meanwhile, the very folk you're going to give a pass to, first time they get the damn check is always the white women. And that's already there. So you're going to, if that's your worry, if that's your concern, get over it. Get over it. That's going to happen no matter what you do. It's going to be a bunch of niggas in the 3rd ward and the 5th ward. They're going to go straight to the Cadillac dealership and blow it all in a weekend. Okay, they have the right to do that. If that is what their genetics did, do you know what that means? That means they were the descendants of the house niggas. They were the descendants of the bed bucks. And this is the ultimate result of history. That if you want to know what happened to that bloodline ultimately failed. And it's time to clean that bloodline out of the gene pool. Then you're going to have some black folk who are going to put it up and sit on it and do nothing with it. If you don't know what to do with it, it's smartest for you to just put it somewhere and do nothing. And then you're going to have about 20% who are going to take it and change everything. That's what you're going to have. But you're always going to have the defective. That's always going to occur. You're not going to stop that. No matter what you do. Hell, what if you end up with a Byron Allen? Right? Did I say that? Yeah, I said it. I said it. What if you end up with a Byron Allen? Who sits up here and he can flip it into something what there. Next thing you know, he's openly fighting to get what he can get for himself. And damn, black folk. Well, there you go. So he's talking the talk, but not walking it. You're not going to be able to stop that. You're not going to be able to stop some. There are going to be some black folk who are going to be pro-black, at least approaching that way. As soon as you drop the check in their hands, they were pro-black when they were broke. Yeah, back when they were broke, they were pro-black. Back when they were struggling, they were pro-black. As soon as you let a little money check touch their hands, all of a sudden, boom, they gone. Now that's gonna happen no matter what you do, no matter what standards you have, even if the standard was 100% purity, that's gonna happen anyway. So why are we quibbling over this? Why? For what reason? You're gonna need, you gonna need some light-skinned niggas like Malcolm X and Dr. Claude Anderson. You gonna need some of them to balance out the Terry Cruzes and the Jesse Lee Petersons. You gonna need some of them. That's just reality. Matter of fact, I'd rather trade them. But you gonna need some of those. If you just gonna ask me which one I'd rather have them. And at the end of the day, you're not even watching what you're gonna get. Because if everybody was concerned about, okay, what if I do? Is this gonna fix it for me? Then they wouldn't even be asking about, okay, who qualifies and who doesn't. Because this is about getting who qualifies. The descendants of American slaves. Now that all we need is a protocol for that. Once we got it, we're done.
Can I say one thing?
I'll let you have the last one.
I wasn't so much worried about racial people getting it as much as I wanted there being some type of preference, and then kind of having white supremacy push melanated and people that aren't in the family, I guess, out.
I don't even understand what that means.
When I say push, like, you have white supremacy and you have biracial people, I was more worried about everybody else getting a bigger chunk of the pie and then actual descendants of slaves just kind of getting pushed to the side and getting crumbs. Because white supremacy has a tendency.
Okay, explain to me exactly how that would happen based on what I gave you. How did you get that?
I totally understand what you're saying now, but originally when I was calling in, I'm not worried about racial people and them getting, whoever's going to get it. But I just want to make sure that the actual descendants of slaves are getting what they're owed and what they need, and it's not going to go to $5 Indian.
The actual descendants of slaves will get that. $5 Indians were people who had no genetic lineage whatsoever. None.
Mm-hmm.
None. And based on the call you had heard me call with the have with the lady last week, neither of us was saying that people with 0%
90 seconds
eligible. Neither one of us was saying somebody with 0% should be eligible. Neither of us said that. Neither. She was wrong, but she wasn't arguing that somebody with 0% should be let in. Okay, but neither was I. I never said somebody should buy their way in. I never gave a protocol that would allow that. No, you definitely need to make sure that somebody has the genetics. They don't just get to walk in and say, hey, I'm eligible too. And nothing you heard from me, you didn't hear anything from me that said, take their word for it, they're black. No, we can test that and check that. White folk can do it to you all the damn time. They got Ancestry.com is set up specifically for the purpose of saying, oh, by the way, nigga, we know where you came from. Ancestry.com is specifically set up for that. It's not hard. But nobody at any time suggested that somebody could purchase their way in. Nobody said that.
10 seconds.
I hate that happening. In any case, nobody argued that. Nobody.
Okay.
So there's
the only thing
there would be to be worried about is if we were envious of someone else and afraid, hey, if I'm gonna get it, why should they get it too? And that's gonna happen no matter what. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Please do give us a call again. I'm glad we got to do that there because I didn't actually get to explain that properly last week. I didn't actually get to explain that in detail But if you all ever run into somebody who tries that, now you know how to debunk them. First and foremost, just tell them, well, you're trying to invoke a purity, you're trying to impose a purity test. Why doesn't your purity test just demand 100%? As soon as they start saying, well, nobody's 100%, oh, well, so you're just saying now it's envy. You're not debating biology anymore, you're debating envy. And that's not what we're here for. The whole reason that buffer classes have been succeeding so well is because Black folk as a group have been easily distracted. When we get focused and say it's about us and then stay on that, buffer classes aren't so powerful. Now, this strategy they're doing now with the Latinos and LGBT, that's been 60 years in the making. They're now ready to take it to the next step, which is eliminate Black people from being statistically significant in the American political system whatsoever. If you think we still got time to play, you ain't been paying attention. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Over 97,000 subscribers and rising. We are not a little thing. If you're new here, click that red subscribe button and then click that yellow notification bell so you can keep up with what we do here. It's definitely worth your while. If you have not seen our documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Ethnic Cleansing American Style, our newest documentary, Race War, they're all available on sale, all available on Amazon. Been a lot of interest in that lately, so you definitely want to be a part of that. BlackChannelFilms.com. You want to check that out. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the BlackChannel.net radio program. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. Until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.